I'm Meg Ormiston, and I started way back in primary. I've taught everything from second grade up to high school now. And in between that, I'm also an educational consultant. I've had helped districts that are urban, rural, suburban, really tackle different things around where my specialty is teaching and learning with digital tools. And so that's kind of where my wheelhouse is really helping schools to go beyond just looking at a tool, but how can it really help to fully engage students? My number one passion in education is helping people to understand that we have to make a major shift from teacher-driven learning to where students own it, where I like to call it, I call it my arrow. I have an arrow where the teacher's controlling the classroom and every single thing that's happening in there. But I want to make a huge shift, a dramatic shift where students are owning their learning. And it's hard because we went to school when the teacher was controlling everything. Then we get into the classroom and we think we're going to stay in that model. But what students really need is to own their learning. What drew me to the Spikeview platform was when I took a position last semester at a high school. And we ended up designing a program that was really, really teacher-driven. And I was so uncomfortable in it. You know, I'm used to my arrow and I'm used to letting students really own their learning. These students, I don't know if it was part of the pandemic recovery, they weren't ready to own their learning. And I had such a hard time like scaffolding them to get to own their learning. And wow, what drew me to Spikeview was this moved a lot of my students. Many students got it and they're like, oh, wow, okay, I understand. I can own my learning. I can show what I do. And some of my kids just thrived when all of a sudden they could talk about what they're good at. Like they didn't take any time to talk about that or even take the reflection piece. And I think that's really key is getting students to reflect on their strengths and what do they want to accomplish? Where do they want to go? So that was a big aha for me. And that's what drew me really to Spikeview. And wow, did it work for my students.